Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So we have the Aurora squad coming up at reset, which is the final squad we have to face for Azora Ravaged run. But this is also going to be the most pay to win squad and in some ways a little bit of the most complicated, because there are a lot of different team formations depending on which heroes you have built on your account. We're going to be going to basically this infographic which was made by Metal, I believe. And it does show 4 of the major top teams you want to run depending on your hero options. But there are going to be maybe potentially some replacements as well, which we'll talk about during the course of this video. And then we'll talk about charms at the end as well. So this is going to be the first team which is considered the best pay to win whale team out there as of right now from the VN server testing. And the team 1 is just going to be an Aliceth plus Lightbearer team. So the team number 1 is actually not incredibly pay to win. You have Hugin in front of Aliceth, you have Zany in the upper left, you have Sonya buffing up Zany and Aliceth, Faye is going to be behind the Aliceth, and then you have Tessio buffing up Aliceth, and then 2 Zany turrets on the right side with the Aerostorm spell. Overall, just about Aliceth as a major damage dealer. The team number 2 in this pay-to-win team, though, is very pay-to-win because it has 3 Celestial Hypogean heroes, which, I mean, if you want to get the top score, you're going to need to have all of them built. And Real Frestor in front of Harak, Illusion in front of nothing. You have Crying Eye in front of Lucia going to be buffing up Harak with the Star Blast spell. So this is why this team is in this whole squad is considered very pay to win, because the top teams are going to be using minimum 4 Celestial Hypogean heroes built up. And for this team, if you don't have Crying Eye and you even have 1 copy of Kulu, then you can run what my viewer is running on the VN server for team number 2, having Kulu behind the fake Illusion Fresto, Real Fresto still in front of Harak, and Lucia off to the right. So this is a really good team option that you can run, and it will work at 1 copy of Kulu, and basically it will not need Crying Eye at all. And so if you have Fresto, Harak, and Aliceth, all 3 of these heroes built, but you don't have Crying Eye built, and you have 1 copy of Kulu, then this is the team that you'll want to run for your top overall score. Moving on to the next team. This is going to be an alternative which is more budget friendly. This is going to be an Aliceth team. It also has Fresto in it. However, you guys just saw in the previous team that we just showcased over here, there is an Aliceth and no Fresto team. It may just be better for you to run this Hugin team rather than this Fresto team. But if you have Fresto built, then this is going to be the combination that you'll want to run. And the team number 2 is also a little bit interesting, but basically it's going to be using your good leftover Lightbearer heroes, and Merrily really is one of the best at that, because Merrily is a good true damage dealer. She can just be the solo DPS on the second team. Hugin buffing up Merrily, and Merrily in front of the Rowan. Tess, you're going to be buffing up Merrily, and this is actually with the Sword Ward spell, which is interesting in a way. Hugin's going to keep giving energy, and everyone's going to keep ulting, and Hugin's going to keep shielding. So this is an interesting basically set of more budget friendly teams if you have Fresto built. However, let's say you don't have Fresto and you want to run Hugin on Team 1. Then you're not going to have Hugin available for Team 2 here. However, I think definitely a team that would work is probably Sinbad, Merrily, Rowan. Because these are 3 heroes which all are pretty good for Ravaged even in the past. And so I could definitely see a team using, again, Tessio buffing up Merrily, that's fine. But then you can have maybe Rowan buffing up Sinbad for melee damage, or just keep Rowan buffing up Merrily and just throw a Sinbad in here. Maybe change around the artifact, maybe Star Blast spell. That's kind of like usually has been a good option for Ravaged. But yeah, that's basically one type of consideration you could maybe make if you don't have Fresto built. So definitely I think that could be something to experiment with. Now here we have the Harak set of teams. So this is if you have Fresto and Harak built, but you haven't built Aliceth yet. So this is really for the more long-term players, really global launch players who invested into Fresto and Harak when they were meta, and you didn't invest into Aliceth yet. Then this is a very good team that you can actually run. Team number 1 is going to be Star Blast spell. So this is a really good option for you to run if you have Fresto and Harak built and you don't have Aliceth. This is probably going to be your best team combo that you can run. And team number 2, very simple, using the Impaling spell, which is a good artifact we've seen in Ravaged. We have Hugin in front of Merrily, and Merrily in front of Faye. Tessio buffing up Faye. Just overall very simple. Impaling spell is Impaling spell just deals that HP loss damage, so you don't even need physical damage in order to trigger Impaling spell. So that's why it's gonna work even on this fully ranged team. Yeah, so that's yeah. Okay, so there we have this Harak team option. Then you have Perseus. The unfortunate thing is if you do not have Harak, if you do not have Aliceth, you're really then going to struggle in Ravaged Run. Your score is really going to fall off the cliff because those are creating a big score gap. If you don't have Aliceth and you don't have Harak, then you're in trouble, right? Then you're going to have to get desperate and run a team like this. So for the leftover options, Perseus is the best damage dealer. Now, if you don't have Perseus, probably you could swap him for something like Sinbad, or maybe move merrily onto the first team and run Sinbad on team number 2. You know, there would be some experimentation which would be needed. But basically, one swap, which is probably going to be the best if you don't have Perseus, is probably going to be Sinbad. But then maybe you're going to have merrily on team 1 and Sinbad on team 2, or try something like that, right? So basically, that is going to be some trial and error. Obviously, when we do have updated teams of global server testing, I'll make an updated video, you know, after, like, when tomorrow comes. But for right now, this is just to give you a preview and some teams that maybe you want to try testing yourself, you know. So this is Fresto, and probably low copies of Fresto would still probably want to run him because he's still going to do some HP loss damage. Hugo in front of Perseus, Tessio buffing Perseus, Fabian Perseus, Sonya buffing up Real Fresto, and Perseus and Illusion up front. Now, the unfortunate news is that if you do not, like we said, you don't have Aliceth, you don't have Harak built, your score is really you're gonna be behind in score by probably up to 8-9 trillion damage. It's a big score gap by not having those heroes. So, yeah, and this is Starbless on Team 1. Team 2, this Zany, Merrily, Rowan. You have the two Zany turrets on the left, Tessio buffing up Merrily with the Impaling spell. And there we have it. So here we have the charms, which are recommended. And overall, I do agree with most of them. So Arcane onto Aliceth, Butcher onto Cryonaya, Balanced onto Harak. Definitely Balanced onto Harak is best. Sorcery onto Fresto, Gale onto Zany, Arcane onto Sonya, Overloaded onto Merrily. Sorcery onto Rowan does make sense. Blast onto Hugin, yeah, it does generally make sense. Arcane onto Perseus, yep, it does make sense. And Arcane onto Face. So yeah, I mean, overall, I do agree with these charms. Now, if you're running Sinbad, I would recommend Gale charms. Generally, Gale charms are recommended for Sinbad. Sometimes sorcery charms, but I would say, I think from past Ravaged runs, it was Gale charms onto Sinbad. If you do have, like, you know, Aliceth built, you do have Harak built, or you have either one of the two built, you're going to get a pretty good score. But the top scores, they're going to have everything. Now, one thing you might be thinking as well, wasn't there a Kulu team? Because when I first talked about Aurora squad, if you guys remember that video, there was a Kulu team, and it was actually using 5 Celestial Hypogeans. I believe it had like Cryonaya, Kulu, and Aliceth on team 2, and Fresto Harak on team 1. So with more testing, maybe there is even going to be a more pay-to-win team than this using that. Maybe Kulu will also be able to slot in and make it even more pay-to-win. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. Hopefully you guys, this is helpful for you and gives you an idea. If there's any other tips you have, anything else you would like to share, feel free to mention them in the comment section down below. But this is the final squad, because after we're done with this squad and optimizations tomorrow, basically, then we're basically locked in with the top teams depending on your account investment, and then it's just time about getting your RNG, using your runs, and trying to maximize, like, you know, your ranking position. So yeah, it's really going to be exciting tomorrow how the meta kind of solidifies. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser. And whenever you're planning to make a purchase, you can return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.